This is the next rising sign video, and it's for Gemini Rising. So people with Gemini Rising would come across as talkative, nervous, very easily distracted. They have a lot going on with their mental, they have a lot going on with their self-expression and with their mind. It's ruled by Mercury. So Mercury is it's the energy of busyness, of mental agility, of intense thought energy. So people with Gemini Rising it depends on the rest of their chart, but they may seem ungrounded because it's very much with the mental level, and they may have a tendency to enjoy a lot of different things when it comes to their personal hobbies and interests. They might find it hard to follow through on things to the very end. So if they start a new project, they might find it hard to complete that project, because the reason why is they might actually get bored or distracted by something else that they think is better, and they think, oh well, actually, this is better, I might go and look into this. So something that can happen with Gemini Risings, they can end up being, it's kind of a cliche, the jack of all trades, master of none, because they do get very restless and bored very easily, and there's this duplicity with their persona. So it's Gemini, it's the twins, so there's like a very strong energy of duality. So even though they may be doing one thing, they may be wishing that they're doing another, or feeling like what they're doing is not as good as they thought it would be, or not as great as what they thought it would be. So there is kind of that duality with their personality, and this can manifest in a variety of ways. There's kind of, to break it down in really simple terms, there's kind of two types of Gemini Rising. There is the social butterfly, the very chatty, likable, talkative, witty sort of Gemini Rising, who's very light touch and sweet-natured sort of soul. And then there's maybe a lower vibration of another Gemini Rising type, which is the more dry wit, cutting wit, gossiping kind of, is very quick to judge and quick to sort of pinpoint faults in others and maybe make a joke out of it, or so there's kind of like that sort of more dry, observational and but commenting on what they see, and maybe with a negative energy. So that's kind of like a lower energy of a Gemini Rising, so someone that's not as evolved as the other type of Gemini Rising. I mean, obviously there's more than two types of personalities out there with Gemini Rising. It just depends on the whole chart, but with Gemini Rising there definitely is kind of two types in a sense. That's what I found. With Gemini Rising, they are very focused on the external world around them, what they can explore, and what their mind can get stuck into. So they love to read, they love to travel, anything that creates a sense of broadening their experience of trying lots of different things, helps them feel like they're learning and growing and experiencing fun times and enjoying life. They definitely have mental agility and the ability to put into words very well what it is that they're wanting to express. Obviously you've got to look at the moon sign and other factors, as I've said before, but this is just basic for the Gemini Rising. One thing with Gemini Rising that they have to learn in this life is, if they have that rising sign, obviously one of their lessons is, that's what I was trying to say, is one of their lessons is not scattering their energies so much, to learn to control what they are doing, and rather than start something, get bored, drop that, start something else, not finish that, start something else. It can be a constant problem for them if they continue to do that. It may affect their their self-esteem if they just keep starting things and not finishing them. They tend to go for variety in life over depth and substance in the way that they do things. You do have to remember the rising sign is kind of the default personality that a person, the way a person expresses themselves when they step out of their front door. So that persona that it's otherwise known as the mask in astrology, in Western astrology. So the mask self, and for Gemini Rising people, that mask self is very intellectual, very dry, witty, funny, social, and that's the way that they move about in the world, in that vein. Whereas a person, say, that has a Scorpio rising or a Cancer rising may react in a new situation by not talking or not saying much if they feel intimidated or uncomfortable. A Gemini rising may most likely do the opposite. They will talk a lot more because of that nervous energy that they have. They can be hard to pin down. They can be on the go constantly, between one friendship to another, to social interactions, to different hobbies that they enjoy, different intellectual pursuits. They may be very distracted all the time. It might be hard for them to just settle down and be in a peaceful zone. They might find things like meditation or being on their own kind of intimidating, because their default way is to be constantly busy and constantly keeping their mind active. So even though they might be sitting on the couch and not doing anything physically, but their mind is constantly going, constantly thinking, constantly, they might be watching TV and texting on their phone, or that type of thing. So they can be lazy, the Gemini risings, but their mind, it might seem like laziness on the outside, but their mind is constantly going, constantly thinking, and they like it that way. They tend to maybe have a fear of getting to know their deeper self, and they stay on that level of being distracted. So that's something that you have to watch as well. And that was all I was going to say about Gemini rising. If I forgot to mention the physical appearance. They can have fine features with the eyes. They can be light coloured eyes or quite light eyes. Something about the eyes can be quite light. Gemini also rules the hands, so you'll find that they may talk and use their hands a lot. They'd be very, verbally expressive as well, and have a tendency to being verbal. So that was, I forgot to say that before. So anyway, that was the video for Gemini rising. Thanks for watching, everyone.